Hey guys, Andy Yen, spoken label. Still here with my friend here, Jessie Liang. Now, the reason this has happened before, Peter Rowe people noticed the previous podcasts when I had to split the recording simply because it's an Instagram thing. It only let me do an hour at once. And there's a couple of things I want to talk to Jessie about here today. She seems to think it might take about 10 to 15 minutes. If it goes like what happened with me, Peter Rowe, it's probably going to be an hour. But I don't mind, Jessie. Okay. Now, obviously, I'm not going to backtrack for everything we talked about in the first half, but what I want to ask you about on part two here to begin with is another thing I spotted before when you were going on about, I think in your newsletter actually, how to use AI to rehearse more effectively. So tell us about this next. This is some, I found this really interesting. I read about this before.
Oh, yeah. Well, AI is here to stay, so we might as well incorporate it into our lives. Of course, I understand the implications that come from AI on the environment and all of that stuff. So obviously, disclaimer is, use it to as much as you want. It's up to you, if you feel like that's the right thing to do. So I use AI in two ways. So one is when I'm doing my audition homework. So when I'm prepping for something, it's not just, whatever I have in terms of script. It's also a lot of the research that goes into it, whether it's, the directors attached, the producers attached, the writers attached to the project, or even the casting directors. And so I like to do a lot of research on my end to get a better feel for what the tone is and what's required of me going into an audition. And I would take so long, Andy, like hours, like sometimes I would like research something and then I'd be like, oh, great, that director did that. Awesome. And then I would like look into my sides and do more of my like rehearsal. And then I'd be like, oh, right. Oh, this writer, I wonder if they're funny or not, because I think I can do this like in a comedic way. And then I would keep going back and forth and trying to figure out all of the things. And I one day was just like, why don't I just put this all into ChatGPT and try to get all the answers, that would take me like less than a minute. And so I created a prompt and I wrote that onto my Instagram as well. There is a reel that I put out on Instagram. I think it's like a lot of actors don't know that you can use AI to rehearse more efficiently. So I put my prompt on there and I can read it out for you. And this works really well. Also, like as a disclaimer, I think it works better when it's something like it's a play or it's like a TV show based on a
Hmm.
novel, or it's something that's already out there. If you're auditioning for a pilot, there's not going to be that much information, or not that there won't be, but sometimes they don't divulge everyone involved or who the writer is. They don't give you a lot of information. So ChatGPT can only take like, whatever's out there. And so keep in mind that yeah, if it's a play or something, a film based on a best-selling book, then you'll get like a lot more information out of this prompt. You can change the prompt as yeah for like as much information or as little information as you have. So the prompt goes, please give me a summary of the project, whatever it is, called blah blah. So you can say like, please give me a summary of this film called The Hunger Games, just as a example, as well as a spoiler full character breakdown and the story's tone, themes, and motifs, and also include a career summary of the director, put their name in, the writer, put their name in, the producers, put the names in, and the casting directors, put their name in, and the production company, put the brand name or company name on there. And lastly, give me a detailed information on the characters, whoever the character is in the scene with you. So like if you're auditioning for Katniss Everdeen, so you can put like, give me a summary on who Peeta Malark is, and any other relevant information for an actor auditioning for the role of blank, which would be Katniss Everdeen in our example. Say thanks because if AI ever comes to kill us all, you want to be one of those people that said thank you. But yeah, I put all of that information into my prompt, and then ChatGPT does its thing. The research comes out in like literally 30 seconds, not even. And then you have it all there. And I'm not saying like that information will make or break your audition, but sometimes it might hint at what you should try to throw in there as like a nugget of something that you can do. So like if you're getting an audition for yeah, like a pilot that you don't have a lot of like they just give you a summary, but there's no character breakdown. You have no idea what the story is. It just says it's kind of sci-fi and you should keep your performance grounded. It doesn't really tell you much about what you should do. So you need to look into the writers and the producers and maybe even the production company, like let's say it's an Apple TV or an HBO show, then like you can probably keep your performance like more close up and like I guess more quote unquote realistic or natural because a lot of their shows, like when it comes to like HBO, dramas, then it's very like quiet and it's all like how much, yeah, how much you can express through your eyes, right? Like you're not using your body. It's not a well, not that you're not using your body, but you're not going as expressive with your body. It's not a comedy. So sometimes you'll get hints through doing your research of like, oh, I get the tone now. I'm gonna go look at the trailer for, I don't know, The Last of Us so that I can understand what is
Oh,
required of me.
I've just
So
seen the.
that,
I know spoilers. I've just seen the second episode of that tonight, and
yeah, I haven't watched it yet either.
oh, you're gonna
Uh,
cry. You are
so
going to cry.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. Yeah, so that's the first way that I use the prompt, ChatGPT. The second one is there's a website called actonq.com, and it's an AI reader. So it actually, you put in your PDF, you select the character you're auditioning for or who you're reading for. It will give you different voices that you can use for your like dialogue for the scene partner, and then you press play and then you're literally rehearsing for someone who's like for not someone but a computer a computer program that is listening to your words and it'll spew back the dialogue when you're done. It's sometimes a little glitchy. I found that this website works better on Safari than like a Chrome, for example. Maybe not so much on like a mobile device, so like my computer was better than when I do it on my iPad. But yeah, it's helped me a lot to use this AI reader because sometimes, or what I used to do before, is that I would record myself on my voice app, on my voice note on my iPhone, and then I record all the dialogue. And so I'm trying to rehearse with something that's pre-recorded. And so sometimes it doesn't give you as much liberty to take more time because you're listening to a recording and then the recording is giving the other person's dialogue and you're just like, wait, I didn't even get there yet. So yeah, this AI Act on Cue is great for when you're trying to just learn lines. I don't think it solves the problem of like when you're rehearsing with a real person, it changes the game. But when you're just trying to run lines, that AI option is also great.
Yeah, no, I agree with it. Yeah, I think you did right. Whatever you got to do, you're doing using the AI. If you use it correctly, and you must have come across people that do use it the wrong way. Writing side like I do, you see come across people saying, "Oh, I've wrote a novel in 2 days," and you're thinking,
Yeah.
"How have you done that?" And then like you
I would not
read,
use it for
no,
writing.
exactly,
No.
I wouldn't either. Same acting, like you're using it like you're amplifying your experience in it all the time. And I open and Gavin's a great idea. It's not something I'd come across before, but I get you, understand you, and I think it's brilliant, absolutely superb in that one for you. So straight
Mhm.
away with it. Now, I want to ask you as well, I scheduled in the first part, and forgot about it, was your directing. 'Cause I know you've been
Mm,
doing some theatre directing, haven't you, as
mhm.
well?
Yes.
So tell us about that experience then. Because like you always say, I've done both sides of the coin. It's great you're directing, you're like a puppet. Instead of being the puppet, you're the puppet master, aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah, in a way, in a way. So I did a little bit of like I learned a little bit about directing when I was in theater school, but I don't think I liked those classes, so I didn't think that it would be an option for me. And then as I said, like I love everything related to acting. And so I started um like I love being part of people's rehearsals or even coaching my friends through their like self-tapes and stuff. And I was like, how far really is this from directing? Like maybe I can do this. So then I found an opportunity. I applied to be an assistant director for a play called Redbone Coonhound here at the Arts Club in Vancouver. I got the job and it was the most like I never learned so much about plays as much as I had like in that like 4 weeks of rehearsal. It was incredible the amount of information that I learned. It made me a better everything, like better artist, better actor, better writer just by being in the room. And from that experience, I thought, I don't know if I can be a director, but I definitely really loved that. And so maybe I should try like co-directing so that I can like see if I can even do it, but I'll do it with help, you know? And so my friend had written a play. We co-directed it together in 2023 for Vancouver Fringe. It's called A Life Sentence. And that experience was also so full of lessons. And we also had to like produce it on our own because that's what Fringe is. And I learned a lot where I was like, I think I can direct. However, I definitely don't like to produce. Like that's why I left management and all that stuff. Don't love working with budgets and sourcing things. So I learned a lot about myself and I think it helped me with the confidence of like maybe I can do this for real. So then in 2024, we brought A Life Sentence back and we co-directed again. And I felt pretty good about that experience also. Like I was like, okay, I definitely think that I could do this on my own. And the symptoms were like I was, talking to my co-director and we would have like differing opinions on how to tackle a scene. And like but the first time we did it, we were like so together and so united. And then by the second time we were both like, maybe we should do it like this. And he had a different opinion and we'd be like, now we're at an impasse because we have different ways that we would like to take this. So that helped me be like, okay, I think I could actually do this. And then my alma mater, Studio 58, called and they were like, hey, how about, what if you directed something here at Studio? And I was like, this is the best opportunity there is because I get to direct by myself for the first time, but at the same time, it's a school. So everyone's learning, including me. So I felt like it was a great opportunity for me to step into. And yeah, it was so great. I directed a play called Baggage. So it's like a new play by this Montreal playwright and musician called Sarah Segal-Lazar. And it was so funny. I kept telling people, like, if you like Fleabag, you're going to love this
And
show.
it's a shame I don't live near it. I loved Fleabag. I thought Fleabag was
Yeah.
absolutely superb. Yeah,
It's like
very,
that
very
kind
clever
of
writing.
perfect, like Phoebe Waller-Bridge humor with being vulnerable, with a lot of feminist themes. And so, yeah, I think that play was like pretty successful. I learned a lot and I had the best time. So I would say it's so like once you're a director, you learn so much about acting because I was giving people a lot of notes that I had gotten before. But when you're on the other side, you're just like trying to do the math of like, how do I do this? You're trying to know your lines and stand where you're supposed to stand. And then you keep getting different props every day. And your brain's just trying to put all the things together. But like as a director, you just have like this vision. You understand the play from like a bird's eye view. So you're trying to give actors as much like information as they can so that they can do their job the best way in a more cohesive way with the rest of the cast. So I learned so much as an actor just being a director, and it helped me realize that like the best actors are the ones that come in with like they're so themselves and they come in with so many ideas because it makes your job so much better, like not better, but like easier as a director. You're just like, oh, great. You have all of these ideas. Let's try them out. Let's see which one sticks. And it's not so much about like telling an actor what to do. It was more like waiting for them to try something. And then I can be like, that was perfect. That is what we want. That will help us tell this story. And then helping them like keep whatever their choice is, stay with that choice and then let them like fly with it. And so it's like a really interesting process of like yeah, directing isn't so much about like aside from telling people where to stand on stage, so the picture on stage is nice. It's more
Ah,
like waiting for the actor to bring something to the table or like suggesting things for them to bring something to the table where you're like, yeah, that's the best choice for us to tell this story.
brilliant. Yeah, oh, fantastic stuff indeed. No, I agree with you completely with that. Yeah, it's that can get you completely right. It's what is fascinating the process to theatre and television and film work. So, like I
Mhm.
say, you could tell that from what you just told me there. You've learned a lot from it. That's brilliant. That is. So, now,
Mhm.
obviously, I know at the moment, obviously, you're doing a lot. You're doing private coaching at the moment, aren't you, as
Yeah.
well?
Yes.
Now, how do you feel like being a director like this is? It's almost like you're doing directing on a one-to-one level now, really, isn't it? As mentor, as much as mentoring. So.
Yeah.
Can you
Yeah, I would
tell
say
us about what you're doing with your private mentoring for people at the moment? Because
mhm.
if I was into be acting, I'd be contacting you straight away for this, would be.
That's a really good way of putting it. It's like partially directing, but also mentoring someone when you're doing a coaching. So the way that I like to coach is uh, that I don't try to interfere too much with someone's process. I'm making sure that the actor in their process is the most comfortable and they're working in a way that works for them. And then I adapt however I give feedback or however I'm trying to give them a note or something to try that will work within what they're doing. And partially of like, yeah, the directing side of it is more like if I've done my research correctly and I'm interpreting the scene how it goes, and I'm looking at an actor from the outside, I can tell them like if it's more within the realm of what they should be doing for, I don't know, like a TV show, for example. So if you're auditioning for The Last of Us versus auditioning for, I don't know, a show on Nickelodeon, it's going to require completely different expressions, not expressions, but like, yeah, your acting is just going to be different. And so as a private coach, I like am doing my job on like making sure that from what the actor's doing, like on the inside will feel a different way from how it looks on the outside. And so I'm trying to help them fulfill that vision of like, okay, if you're trying to do Nickelodeon, but you think you're going big, but you're actually supposed to go a little bit bigger because it's like a it's more animated, it's a kids show, like yeah, it might feel weird on the inside when you're doing it, but it doesn't read like that on the outside. So I'm trying to like encourage people to get that what their goal is with that audition. And also another part of it is yeah, reminding actors of like, are you doing all the things that you could be doing with that audition to not quote unquote make you stand out. I hate saying that because then when we're trying to stand out, we're doing crazy shit. But it's not standing out. It's like, what are the choices that would make you you? Like if I'm auditioning for something and you, Andy, are auditioning for something, we wouldn't do it the same way. So I just want to make sure we're encouraging that uniqueness. We're finding how we can bring more of you. So not to always ignore stage directions, but you don't have to do every single stage direction. Just because it says that you're crying, it doesn't mean you have to cry. So I like try to encourage actors to find, in their moment before you start talking, if you're starting the scene, before you start talking, what are you doing? What are you thinking about? Like try to find that moment before that is just that only you could think about. No one else could. And not to say that it's different from like if you're in a pool setting and then you're not going to be in a pool. No, you're still in a pool, but it's like how do you react to being in a pool that's different that only Andy would react? Like do you like the water? Is the water warm? Is it cold? So that's the kind of work that I'm doing with actors one-on-one. And then the other side of it too is like a lot of people come to me with like career questions. They want me to look at their materials, their resume, their headshots, and or a lot of people don't have like really healthy or like strong relationships with their agents, and then they'll ask me like, how do I approach this subject with my agent? And then I'll like talk them through it. So I'll give them examples of like what you can write in the email, what questions you can ask, and then resources. I give people a lot of resources. So, like books that they can read or podcasts that they can listen to that will help them feel more, yeah, informed and confident about what they're doing.
Brilliant. Now, obviously, like, if people are interested in contacting you on this, do you do this remotely and in person, and do you, or is it, do you do bits of both?
Yeah, yeah. So if you're not in Vancouver, not physically in Vancouver, then we can do it virtually. But if you are in town and you would prefer doing it in person, that's also an option.
Right, that's what I thought. Because nowadays, with the way the world's going, that's the perks of something like Zoom or whatever platform suits you both. No, it's brilliant, that
Yeah.
indeed. Now,
Mhm.
obviously, like I said, we've talked a lot what you've done in the past, and what you've been looking at, and this, obviously, your private coaching. What do you have coming up that you can reveal project-wise?
Well, what can I reveal?
Or what can you hint about then, as I would say then,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm. Hmm. So I'm mostly focusing on coaching and making sure that I'm putting myself out there on Instagram as much as possible. I'm focusing on content creation on Instagram and also just like trying to bring people into, having more coaching sessions with me. I am going to revamp the online course that I released in 2020 because yeah, a lot of stuff on there I think I can revamp for the modern day that we're in. We have, gone past the pandemic now. So there is more that I can say. So I'm definitely going to upgrade or like revamp that online course and make those like offerings to, yeah, like online digital offerings to people. So like that's something that I'm working on. I'm also working on creating another digital product. So you saw my unconventional tips, and I was like thinking, I don't know, what else can I offer out there? Maybe like an audition, like a share my audition Bible or like how I prep for roles. Like so I'm cooking on that right now,
I'm
thinking
surprised.
about what
I'm
other
generally
digital projects.
surprised you've not considered doing a book on that, to be honest with you, or say a subscription podcast.
I mean, honestly,
There's so much. There's
there
not
are
enough
enough
on it.
books out there.
Yeah.
Honestly, there's too many books out there that actors can read. So yeah, if they want a book, I can make a lot of suggestions, but I would say like, hey, this is something that works for me because I'm, I'm me and I this is how my brain works. So yeah, I can do I'm thinking of doing that as a digital product, but I'll think about it. I'm gonna see what it seems like people are needing as opposed to me just like shoving things out there. But yeah, those are the two things on my end, like coaching wise, that I'm doing. And in terms of like other acting projects out there, still auditioning a lot. But I'm shortlisted for something that would be really exciting. So, fingers crossed for me, Andy.
Well,
Pray for
you
me.
can tell me off mic in a few minutes, right? And because
Yeah. And that's all I'm gonna say
yeah,
because hey, we don't want to jinx it. What if I don't get it? You
exactly. I'm not going to ask, is there any chance of you coming back to Night Agent season three? Because I don't want to jinx it
know?
on you.
That would be so fun. Yeah, bring me back. I want to shoot in Europe or New York. I
Yeah,
don't know. This show is global now. So
yeah,
they're somewhere
right.
far, far away from Vancouver. And I would love the opportunity to travel.
Oh yeah, I can't blame you on that one straight away. Out of interest, obviously, before we give you all the social
Huh.
media plugs, what's the furthest you've travelled so far for an audition? You don't have to name, don't name the program.
What's the furthest
Yeah,
that I
yeah.
traveled?
Have you ever really had to travel so far for an audition yet?
Oh, not for an audition, just for like a booked gig. Then I traveled to the island when I was on Maid, actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know that show. So when I did Maid, we didn't shoot it in Vancouver. We were on Victoria. So I traveled mostly for that. And then I was on tour with Kim's Convenience as well in 2020, just before the pandemic. So we toured within our province, and that was, yeah, yeah, that was like not even that far.
Yeah. No,
I
Night
did
Agent
one time.
season three. Night Agent season
Yeah.
three, London. No,
Yeah,
that'll do. You're right. I'll come and meet.
exactly.
I'll come down cheer you on.
God, one time I booked a commercial that shot in Mexico and I couldn't go.
Okay.
That was the most heartbreaking moment of my life.
Oh, I bet it was. Oh well,
Yeah.
next time maybe then. Okay, definitely
Yeah,
right. So
exactly.
anyway, Jesse. Okay, I'm conscious of the time here today. For you now, obviously, if people want to track you down, where do you recommend they go to them?
The easiest way, if you are on Instagram, just find me on Instagram. It's at Jessie Liang 21. And it's the same on my TikTok or my YouTube or Facebook or whatever. But I'm mostly on Instagram. I am posting on there every day. And that's the best way yeah, if you comment on something or if you DM me, you can reach me. And yeah, that's just go from there because my link tree is in my bio. And so once you click the link tree, then you can sign up for a free consultation call with me, or you can download my unconventional tips. You can book a coaching session with me, or just like, yeah, go through all of my links. There's just so much on there. It's kind of overwhelming.
Yeah, well, I was like that this afternoon looking. I thought, wow.
Yeah.
But no, the unconventional tips is fantastic. So
Oh,
good luck with
great.
that
Thank
straight.
you.
I've thoroughly enjoyed reading that this evening. So
Oh, good. I'm glad you did.
thank you again for today, Jesse. It's been an absolute
Thank you,
pleasure this
Randy.
time. So the people are wondering now, Jesse's probably around about old enough for this, but I'm definitely not old enough. So we're going to go and hang out with the kids in a few minutes on TikTok. So I do a little bit of extra work in there. But I want to thank Jesse today. Probably enjoyed it.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. This was such a pleasure.
Yeah, same here. Okay, people. Yeah, that's it from Spoken Label today. Thanks again to Jesse for today. Great fun. As Don Callis over at AEW Wrestling says, stay safe and stay over, and we will see you all next time.